Hello everybody, welcome to Percussion Axiom TV. I'm your host Tom Burritt. This is episode number 37. This week, it's actually Memorial Day, 2009, and this week I've been in San Antonio, Texas, working with a very established new music group called the Soli Ensemble. If you've been following my Twitter feed, you've seen me tweet out a bunch of links and some information. I had a fantastic time down here, and we're going to get into more about what this concert's all about here in a few minutes, but a couple house cleaning things to begin with. I know I've been talking about this interactive piece for a long time, but we're actually getting very close. I'm shooting for like the week of June 15th to start the next project. So I'm going to let you guys know which piece we're going to go with here very soon, hopefully within a week or so. I'll let that know. I'll tweet that out, and maybe we'll do it in the next episode, let you know, so you have plenty of time to get that music. And I would like to have, obviously, as many of you as possible involved in that. So we'll make a choice here of a piece. It's going to be pretty simple, pretty straight up, so we can get as many people involved as possible, and we'll get that started hopefully the week of June 15th, which is about 3 weeks away, I believe. So anyway, things have been absolutely nuts lately. I've wanted to get that going sooner, but there's just so much going on. But anyway, I hope you guys can join us, so let's shoot for that. Be thinking about getting ready to order something if you don't have it, but I'll let you know as soon as it's decided kind of what we're planning. So that's the first thing. We've got some really exciting shows and stuff coming up. I'm actually on the road right now. I think I'm going to be doing more of these because this show's really all about sort of kind of what's happening, in sort of my creative activities and where I am. And so I've got a lot of stuff coming up. The Lee Stevens seminar, the second week in June, and then we got a really excellent show that I think we're going to plan for the Zelsman Festival, which is going to be like totally historic. I'm so excited about that. So got some really cool things coming up. So today's Axiom is contemporary music ensembles, a huge opportunity. You know, we've talked a lot on the show about marketing yourself and getting extra jobs and just marketing yourself as a performer. And we can't all be marimba soloists. We all teach. We all do a number of things. But I think there's an opportunity in contemporary music that is huge. And I don't care what city you live in, if it's a significant city, and there's probably some type of new music activity or new music ensemble involved. And not all of them have percussionists or regular percussionists. So that's today's Axiom. There's a huge opportunity for all of you out there who just love to play. And you may have to do some unusual things in some of these concerts, like I'm going to talk about here in a minute. But there's a huge opportunity for you. Go find out what's happening. Go to concerts, introduce yourself. I just think there's a huge opportunity. I've done way more of this than I really ever imagined I would. And we talk a lot about being involved in the Percussive Arts Society and doing days of percussions and going to do clinics that are other universities, other high schools, whatever. And that's all really important. But I think there's a whole other world out there of performance opportunity that if you just go and find, it's there. So. This is a perfect example. I've been on the road here in San Antonio with the Soli Ensemble, and we've talked in previous shows about the Michael Torkey piece that we're doing. Today's dress rehearsal, and here in just a little bit we're going to be doing that. But really the focal piece of the program is the second half is Peter Maxwell Davies' 8 Songs for a Mad King, and it's got a really interesting percussion part that I just wanted to talk a little bit about. So this piece was premiered in 1969 by the Burritt players, and the composer actually conducted it. And Peter Maxwell Davies is not someone I knew a whole lot about before doing this project, but he did study with some pretty important composers of the 20th century. And I didn't really know that much about this piece actually before we had to put it together, but it's got some really interesting writing. And this piece is basically about King George III, who actually basically went mad, and there was a movie based on this that sort of depicts the story. But the piece is written for 8 songs, and basically each player is supposed to be in a cage because King George had bullfinches, and so the piece is really sort of depicts texts of King George III. And so, and it says here in the score, the songs are to be understood as the king's monologue while listening to the birds perform, and incorporates some sentences actually spoken by King George or by George III. So It's a very descriptive piece, and really the vocal part of this, and there's some acting involved as well, is really phenomenal and very, very difficult. And there's only maybe a handful of people that can actually do that part. And Timothy Jones is our King George, and he's phenomenal. I mean, he's just ridiculous. The vocal range of this is astronomical. You should really check it out. It's all over the place, and there's very few people actually in the world that can actually perform the part. So, but let's just talk about the percussion part a little bit. I don't know how this will work, but we're going to try to show you a little bit of what the setup is entailed here. So to have the camera on top of the glockenspiel, but you can see from over here, there's just a trap table with some unusual things, some jingles, cymbals, so nothing too crazy. And then over here, actually there's an interesting rototom part. And yes, there's actually a didgeridoo. And so that's very interesting. So I've had to learn how to play this thing here, which you can see is just absolutely gigantic. Yeah, so anyway, like I said, sometimes you have to do something that's a little unusual. But there's also, there's lots of bird noises. So we have our bird whistle here. There's a crow call, train whistle, all that interesting stuff. Everything else is pretty conventional. Some chains. And also classic washboard. So there's that. And there's also a very interesting, at the end of the piece, the percussionist acts as the king's keeper, actually. And at the very end of the piece, when he goes completely insane and pronounces his own death, whips are used to beat a bass drum, and he follows the percussionist off stage. So it's very dramatic work. We actually have some projections that go along with it. So it's a really exciting piece of music, and this Soli ensemble is fantastic. And I just think there's so much opportunity for you guys out there. So the other piece we talked about is the Michael Torkey, and you can see the marimba over there. We'll be doing that in a little bit here. But yeah, so actually it's a very big concert for me. Lots of notes, lots of planning, but it's been a blast. These people are fantastic, and just amazing ensemble, amazing people. And I really, really hope this leads to some other cool things in the future, and I think it will. So anyway, that's today's Axiom. There's a whole other performance opportunity out there for you guys. It's very, very exciting. And actually, a lot of these groups, I have found, are funded very, very well. And that can be a good thing for you financially as well. So, all right, everybody, thanks so much for watching. And I hope you enjoyed this little road edition of PATV. And if you're not following me on Twitter, please do that, especially now that we're looking at this interactive process coming up. And I try real hard to send out some interesting links and some things that I think are important. And so anyway, hope you're doing that. And thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.